From Sunday to this morning, the Harris campaign has raised a cool $126 million. Meaning, do you know what this means?
What does this
Do you have any idea what this means? The spike. This voter registration spike was even higher than when Taylor Swift made an Instagram post.
Kamala Harris leads Donald Trump by 2 points, according to a recent poll. Could this be the start of a significant change in the 2024 presidential contest? The response from Stephen Colbair may surprise you. The recent Wisconsin rally by Kamala Harris may be the catalyst her campaign needed to turn things around. Originally scheduled for a small venue, the event soon outgrew that space as word of Harris's appearance spread like wildfire.
If that reception sounds huge, that's because it is. In fact, the turnout was so large that organizers said they had to move the rally to a larger venue. Wow, needing a bigger space for your rally used to be Trump's whole thing.
Something significant was about to happen because campaign organizers had to rush to find a bigger location. There was a noticeable buzz in the room as Harris took the stage. The lively and diverse audience focused intently on everything she said. It was nothing like the usual political parties to which we have become used in recent years. The contrast was too much for Stephen Colbair to ignore, as he quips that Harris's rally was surprisingly devoid of celebrity wrestlers from the 1980s. A crude dig at Trump's preference for show over content.
Last night, Harris had her first public rally in Wisconsin, and I gotta say, it was refreshing to see a presidential rally without a single wrestler from the 1980s.
However, the true narrative concerned not only who was absent, but also who did and why. Not only was the crowd sizable, but it was also enthusiastic and involved. The audience erupted into forceful chants of "We are not going back" as Harris shared her vision for the United States. These were not hollow words reverberating through the corridor. They served as a rallying cry and an announcement of intent from voters fed up with divisive rhetoric and regressive policies. Women's rights and other social issues that have recently come under attack struck a deep chord with the chants. Recognized for her unwavering position on these subjects, Harris appeared to connect with the audience. The prevailing sentiment among the crowd seemed to be, "We've come too far to let anyone push us back now."
And it applies to so much. Women's rights, not going back. Gay rights, not going back.
But we are not going back. We are not going back.
There has been a noticeable change in the public opinion of Harris since this rally. Pundits had questioned her capacity to energize voters and connect with them for months. But those doubts seem to vanish right here in Wisconsin. The vice president engaged the audience in a conversation that felt both intimate and impactful by speaking with them rather than merely speaking to them. Supporters were glued to Harris's every word, and the atmosphere was electrifying. Colbert emphasized this excitement, pointing out that it was difficult to ignore the atmosphere created by the crowd's chants and energy. It was more than just a political event, it was a growing movement. The location of this rally was especially notable. Wisconsin has served as a battlefield for both parties and is a pivotal swing state that could determine the outcome of the 2024 election. Harris conveyed a strong message by holding her first significant public rally here. She is not taking any votes for granted. The Wisconsin rally's success wasn't a one-off event. It followed a string of calculated actions by the Harris campaign. They have been putting in a lot of effort to develop support from the bottom up, interact with the community, and take on the issues that voters care about most. The result of those efforts was this event, which served as an outward manifestation of the growing wave of support. Conversations around the nation were sparked by the rally as word got out. Videos of Harris's speech and the enthusiastic reaction of the crowd went viral on social media. Political pundits started reevaluating their forecasts, speculating that this might be the beginning of a significant change in the race. The success of Harris's Wisconsin rally must have served as a wake-up call for the Trump campaign. It demonstrated that their rival is more than just a name on a ballot. Rather, she is a strong contender who has the ability to inspire people and spark a movement. Harris's recent campaign performance is the wildfire if her Wisconsin rally served as the spark. The vice president's team has been shattering records left and right, leaving opponents perplexed and political pundits straining to keep up. Now let's discuss money. The Harris campaign raised an astounding $126 million in a very short amount of time, demonstrating their remarkable financial prowess. Ever the comedian, Stephen Colbair compared this fundraising achievement to the premiere of a big-budget film, stating, "That means that Kamala Harris had a bigger opening weekend than Twisters."
That Kamala Harris had a bigger opening weekend than Twisters. Sorry, Glenn Powell. Maybe you'd be more popular if you'd hit the gym, okay, Tubbo? From Sunday to this morning, the Harris campaign has raised a cool $126 million. Meaning, do you know what this means? Do you have any idea what this means?
Although it's a lighthearted analogy, it makes a significant point. Harris's campaign isn't just picking up steam, it's shattering land speed records. However, the Benjamins are not the only factor. A campaign's true strength lies in its people, and Harris appears to have succeeded there as well. Her campaign saw a massive influx of new volunteers in less than a week, eager to get on the phone and knock on doors. Harris quickly amassed an army of 74,000 devoted followers who were all ready to work hard to elect their candidate.
In less than a week, the Harris campaign has signed up 74,000 new volunteers who will soon be phone banking and door knocking, okay? That's really important. Door knocking's all well and good, but what if they don't answer?
And while we're on the subject of figures, let's discuss voter registration. Vote.org reported the highest numbers of new voter registrations for the entire election cycle after Harris's announcement. Even spikes observed during celebrity-driven events, such as Taylor Swift's Instagram posts, were surpassed by this increase. You know your campaign is on the right track when it can engage people more than Taylor Swift's.
The spike. This voter registration spike was even higher than when Taylor Swift made an Instagram post.
But there's still more. The recommendations have begun to come in, and they're not from random sources. Prominent Democrats who have supported Harris include Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. Party leaders' endorsements may seem inevitable at this point, but in politics, timing is crucial. Schumer's endorsement was noticeably slow to come through, which made Colbert joke that Schumer usually endorses people quickly, stating, "There's one thing Schumer is known for, it's his lightning speed." The fervor with which these endorsements are being offered at this time indicates how much the public trust in Harris's campaign is growing. She even has the support of President and Michelle Obama, who are prepared to go to any lengths to secure her a position in the White House. What does all of this mean then? It's straightforward. Kamala Harris is a force to be reckoned with and is no longer just a candidate. Her campaign has changed drastically almost immediately as a result of her successful fundraising, active volunteerism, well-known endorsements, and the contagious enthusiasm that millions of people have for her. She's leading the charge, not just competing. There is context to this outpouring of support. It's a direct reaction to the message Harris is trying to convey, her ideal America, and yes, the difference she puts up against her opponent. People are investing in a future they believe in, not just handing over cash or giving up their time. This has to be raising red flags for the Trump campaign. They are now up against a well-funded, extremely well-organized machine that is grabbing the attention of voters across the nation rather than a theoretical foe. These days, it's not just about poll numbers, it's about energy, momentum, and an increasingly hard-to-ignore wave of support. But let's not get carried away. It's a well-known fact that political campaigns are marathons rather than sprints. Although the Harris team is off to a great start, there is still a long way to go. The true test will be in their ability to keep up this momentum, adjust to the unavoidable obstacles, and keep growing their network of supporters. The more momentum Kamala Harris's campaign has, the more problems appear to be piling up for Donald Trump. J.D. Vance, the former president's choice for running mate, has sparked controversy and drawn criticism from a wide range of political perspectives. Without holding back, Stephen Colbert called Vance the least liked VP nominee in decades. Although it's a harsh judgment, voters appear to be responding well to it. Vance, a longtime opponent of Trump who is now a devoted follower, has had difficulty winning over the Republican base. Media coverage of him has consistently focused on his lack of charisma. Colbert even made the amusing comparison between him and a plank of wood. This disparaging analogy draws attention to a major obstacle facing the Trump campaign: how to inspire voters when your running mate lacks personality. But there are a lot of problems ailing the Trump campaign, Vance's unpopularity being just one. It's getting harder for the GOP to launch successful attacks against Harris. Their struggle was brought to light painfully when party strategists advised against discussing Harris's race. This hesitancy exposes a party that is unprepared to handle the intricacies of contemporary political discourse. particularly in the face of a historically diverse ticket. Certain conservative media outlets have been resorting to increasingly bizarre attacks in their desperation to find something, anything, to criticize. For example, Fox News seized upon Harris's position regarding plastic straws. Colbert couldn't help but make fun of this strategy and quip, "They suck." It's a joke that sums up the ridiculousness of these clumsy attempts to malign Harris. For the Trump campaign, the inability to effectively criticize Harris is more than just a minor irritation. It's a major issue. It's important to define your opponent in politics. You run the risk of losing control of the conversation if you are unable to mold the story around your competitor. Furthermore, it appears that rather than Harris's flaws, the discussion is currently mostly centered on her advantages. The inability to present a convincing story about Harris is exacerbated by Trump's own legal issues and divisive remarks. It is difficult to focus on any cohesive campaign strategy when the former president's personal dramas consistently dominate headlines. You can't concentrate on attacking your opponent if you're always on defense. To further exacerbate the hurt the Trump campaign is experiencing, the Republican mayor of Mesa, Arizona, came out in favor of Kamala Harris, claiming that the Trump administration disregarded his town during Trump's 4 years in office. He asserted that Biden completed a number of initiatives that were significant for his town of Mesa. This lends significant weight to a Harris campaign slogan stating that they fulfill their commitments, that there is no way to overstate the differences between the two campaigns. While Harris is attracting unprecedented numbers of supporters and igniting a fresh wave of political activism, Trump appears to be repurposing outdated strategies that may no longer be effective. His rallies, which were formerly the focal point of his political brand, are now in direct competition with Harris's dynamic events, and he doesn't always win. Furthermore, in light of Harris's more inclusive message, Trump's reliance on polarizing policies and divisive rhetoric is beginning to seem out of date. Trump's campaign appears to be stuck in the past and unable to adjust to the shifting preferences of the electorate as the political landscape changes. The fact that Trump postponed a scheduled debate with Joe Biden adds to his perceived weakness. Was it just another of Trump's lies when he declared to the world that he would debate anywhere at any time? Harris declares that she will attend regardless of Trump's actions. Trump isn't handling this move by Harris well. It's like he's hurling his own game in his face. There is fear in the Trump camp due to a number of factors, including an unpopular running mate, poor attack tactics, and a campaign that seems increasingly disconnected from reality. These worries have only grown worse in light of the unexpected poll results that put Harris ahead. However, it goes beyond the figures. There's a discernible change in zeal and energy that's difficult to measure but unavoidable. Harris's campaign is gaining traction, has a distinct message, and the candidate appears to be becoming more at ease and self-assured every day. On the other hand, Trump is up against not just his opponent, but also shifting social views, shifting demographics, and his own contentious history.